points in a regular scoring league last week. Just crushed it.
Yahoo or ESPN?
Yahoo.
Really? You have a quarterback as a kid.
I had Rodgers too, which was a roller coaster because he went down, thought he was gone, and then he put up like 38. I was like, what? It was nuts.
Yeah.
I had Hill, who went off.
I saw you checking your lineup at breakfast.
You did?
I saw you checking out Yahoo.
It's like I got everything set up right.
It's not on the public.
Yeah. Oh my god. Good eyes. People were like, hold on. Gotta adjust the lineup. So sorry about that. Were you there?
No.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
I was here at 6. I told her I couldn't come.
I thought it was good. We got good feedback. It was kind of technical, which I think some people like, but other people think get nervous about asking questions. It wasn't really my show to organize, but
Wait, so
a lot of people afterwards were sticking around and networking and going up to the advisors, which I think was a great sign. It was a great compilation of people, like especially with CEI Ventures there. Henshaw is kind of a power broker and has been for decades. He managed like $50 million between like 3 or 4 VC funds in the state of Maine. And really, he like established the first community venture fund in the state like 2 decades ago. So like, he's either on the board currently or has been on the board with MTI. His brother's a really cool guy too. They look like twins, and he's been like the director of the ports. So they're both like very involved in like the economy in the state of Maine. Yeah. Very good. All right, folks, we are going to get started here in just right now. Give everybody a moment to get situated. As usual, a few new faces in the crowd. We really like to keep this casual. Please feel free to continue eating. There's water and some drinks in the fridge, so feel free to get up and move around, get comfortable, so please enjoy yourself. So again, especially for some new folks in the audience, wonderful to see everybody. New faces, old faces, some alumni here. For those of you not familiar with Central Maine Tech Night, this is a monthly event, the second Thursday of every month, bringing together technology experts and hobbyists together to network, learn, and share. You can find more information about Tech Night at centralmaine.org/Tech Night or on the Tech Night tab. You can also, as you would assume and hope, you can find us on Facebook. You can also find this programming on YouTube at Crossroads TV. I would like to also say hello to the folks watching at home. This Tech Night is being streamed live and can be viewed on Crossroads TV, channel 1301. Thank you, Crossroads TV, for joining this evening, and thank you to Chad behind the camera. Before we get started, I would also like to thank our sponsors this evening. This free event is presented by Central Maine Growth Council and is sponsored by CGI, Thomas College's Harold Alfon Institute for Business Innovation, Valley Beverage, and of course Brick's Co-working and Innovation Space here at 10 Water Street, downtown Waterville, Maine. I would like to just plug a picture of Digital Dave here. Please take a picture with Digital Dave. He's come from afar. He'll be back, but please let's represent him in the digital universe in perpetuity here. So take a picture with Digital Dave and enjoy.
Before we all leave, we need to actually stand around and get a picture with Digital Dave. So do you mind if we interrupt and do that?
No, let's do Digital Dave right now. This is interactive. This is real time. We're doing it. We're doing digital Dave picture. We'll do a before and after and see how it looks. Especially for Rick.
Who actually is digital? It's the head of
For the folks at home, we're taking a picture with digital Dave.
Everybody's tall here. Very offended. I'm going to digital Dave. What's up, digital Dave?
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Marvin, your modeling is out of this world.
You can find those pictures by contacting Rick after Tech Night. And Digital Dave will hopefully be with us in October as well. I would also just be remiss if I didn't mention and would love to plug, we have the second annual Converge and Create at Thomas College on November 16th and 17th. Really a wonderful lineup of programming, expertise, all geared towards innovation and entrepreneurship in the mid-Maine and throughout the state of Maine. So please stay tuned for that. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Allison Watkins, Business Advisor at Maine SBDC. Tonight's Tech Night is Selling Tech with a Human Touch, Challenges of Customer Service in a High-Tech World. One of the largest challenges small businesses and entrepreneurs face is trying to do it all, which often means handling the daily operations and events at the expense of taking the time to think strategically about their business. This Tech Night is an opportunity to dedicate an hour of thinking strategically about your customers, what makes them think, what makes them tick, and what makes them yours, and of course, how to keep them. Technology-based companies face a consumer market with a wide range of technological abilities, yet customers in all segments want the opportunity to talk with a company face-to-face about the products and service. In this presentation, Allison will help you identify how to communicate with your target market, guiding you through the 5 stages of the buying process, customer acquisition, and retention strategies, and reasons why customers may just leave. Please join me in welcoming Allison.
Thank you. Thanks very much. It's really a pleasure to be here tonight with you. I understand this is pretty informal, and that makes me feel pretty good. It's always a little nerve-wracking to stand up and see if you have words of wisdom to offer. And I will say tonight, probably a lot of what I'm going to say isn't necessarily earth-shattering or new, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to just take this time and think about how some of these things apply to you and your business. And it's true, you know, as entrepreneurs and small business people, you get so caught up in the day-to-day operations of things that it's hard to take that time and step back sometimes and think about the big picture. But so I have some things I would like to share with you tonight and encourage you to think about how you sell your services with a human touch. As you mentioned, I'm a small business development advisor, and I'm in the Mid-Maine Chamber office in Waterville. So I serve the northern Kennebec and Somerset County areas and anybody else who needs help who comes to me. So my job is to assist businesses through free, confidential, professional training and advising, and one-on-one workshops like these, presentations and one-on-one meetings. So tonight, let's talk about your customers. We're going to talk about some of the challenges of customer service in a high-tech world, the 5 stages of the buying process, customer acquisition and retention, and why customers leave. So for challenges of customer service in a high-tech world, how many of you sell products? A couple of you. So the rest of you sell services. Anyone products and services together? Okay. So what do you think is easier to represent and communicate about with your customers? The products. They're visual, they're there. in today's highly visual world, selling services, especially high-tech services, often presents more challenges because of the constant flood of new names being invented and the myriad of technical products and services. So people's attention spans have also gotten incredibly short, and images communicate information to them much more quickly than words do. So think about how you can visually represent services, and it's a challenge. And think about talking in terms of how what you do or what your service does really impacts your customer. What does it do for me? Will my life be better for it? I used to work in the utility industry, and people would talk about kilowatt hours, and they would glaze over. But what is electricity? Well, my husband would tell you it's, you know, a cold shower, a hot shower and a cold beer. So think about visually, how do you take the service that you offer and represent it as a benefit to your customer? And how many of you have heard of WIFM? Maybe not. What's in it for me? And that's how you always want to think about what your service or product can do for your customers. So some of the challenges. There are tons of new and innovative technology products, and that makes, and services. It makes lots of noise in the marketplace for consumers. It's a lot of different applications competing for space. You know, there are so many different social media platforms and so many different things that are competing, and the information to someone who's non-technical gets confusing very quickly. There are a lot of infrastructure options and limitations on what will talk to what and what won't talk to what. There's customization of technology and product services, so you can't find something that does exactly what you want to do. Now you've got to figure out who can customize what you want in a technology product. And then there's integrating it all. How do you make it all work together and talk together? And it's frustrating for consumers. It's also frustrating for business owners. It's one of the biggest challenges in a workplace is people want their technology to work and they want the services to talk to each other. So it's a huge opportunity to provide great customer service. One of the common business questions you're supposed to ask when you start a business is, what is the customer problem we're trying to solve? What customer need are we meeting? And the answer to those two questions really become increasingly complex with technology, especially when now you start to look at the diversity of your customer base. So one of the authors that I wanted to quote was a man named Best, who said, "The challenge is really to bring technology and personal communication together. The goal of marketing high-tech technology products is to take all the fancy, sophisticated alphabet soup and communicate it simply to the customer. Here's what this is, here's how it will impact you, here's how it will benefit you. As simple as that. People need to feel supported and understood in any business, and in the high-tech, and it's especially important." So that human touch is still really important to customers. So there have been some studies done and tried to differentiate the customer base around high-tech aptitudes and abilities, if you will. And this was from a study that was done for a bank. And they came up with 6 categories of customers. You've got your fast-track, young enthusiast. This is the one that's waiting outside the door, you know, camping out 2 nights before the latest technology is out there. They're after it, they'll try it, they're in. You've got the next level, which is kind of the young aspirational. They're curious and they want it, but they also are concerned about what it's going to cost them. So then you have your middle of the road and value seeker. The middle of the road wants to make sure it works before they invest in it. They want someone else to work the bugs out. And then the value seeker is someone who, yes, they want someone else to work the bugs out, and they want the price to come down before they buy it. Simplifier is the older person who just has to have, they want the functionality they need, and the rest of it is just overwhelming. And the conventional, older, light user of technology, they're going to get on the internet, and they're okay, you know, with a cell phone that will make calls. So when you're trying to talk to that gamut of customers, think about how complicated that messaging is. And think about how the messages that you're using right now, which customers are you talking to the best? And this is really a daunting challenge to try to satisfy these 1 and 2 and possibly 3, you know, the tech-savvy consumers without alienating those on the other end who are a little bit slower to adopt the technology. And just to give you a breakdown, about 1/3 of the consumers identify themselves in that first and second category, and there's about another 1/3 in the 5th and 6th category. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And 80% of the fast trackers adopt new technology within the first year it's available. The most interesting thing I found was consumers in all segments want personnel available to talk to them about the new technology rather than trying to learn it on their own. So, and even among those fast trackers, 1/3 of them still said they would like to have someone to talk to help them understand how to use the technology. So I challenge you to think about, and you've got this slide in your deck, of those categories. You know, take a few minutes and just think about how many do you have in each of those, do you think? And where is your opportunity? So there may be some that you're communicating really, really well with right now. But if you tweaked your marketing message or your customer service just a little bit, could you pick up some more of them? And what would that do to add value to your product and service? So where's the most value for you of these customer segments, and what would it take to serve those customers' needs more directly? Can you get a different level of service? And can you move somebody who's a value seeker, middle of the road, into one of the young aspirational, and maybe the age doesn't matter, but to move them up to be more receptive to the products and service that you're offering? And that's kind of the challenge that I see for tech types of services and products. And all consumers go through 5 stages of a buying process. And the larger the purchase is, the more concrete these stages are, and the more time they will spend doing it. So the first thing is they have to have need for the recognition that they have a problem they need to solve. The second step they do is to go out and find a solution to the problem. The third thing is to look at the solutions and say which one's best. There's a purchase decision and a post-purchase evaluation. So that's what the customer's doing. What are you doing when they're going through those steps? So when the customer has a problem, what is the problem? What are you communicating to them when they recognize they have that problem, what their problem is? And that you have a product and service related to it. In the information stage, when they're looking for the solution of their problem, where are you? Are you in the places that they're looking? And for an alternative evaluation, when they're trying to figure out what's the best, have you got the information out there to make them pick you? And the purchase decision is kind of a key one. How easy is it for them to buy from you when they're ready to make that purchase? An American Express survey, 78% of consumers have not completed a purchase because they were ready to push the button and something didn't work. So, and number 5, this is key, that when they have purchased this product or service, what do they think about it afterwards? And this is a huge opportunity. How well did it solve your problem? Do you seek out that feedback and listen to your customers? So step 5 is really critical for customer retention, and it's an opportunity to learn a lot about your product and service from your customer. It's easier than ever with social media and a simple sales customer relationship management system. Bill Gates says your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So a little bit about customer acquisition and retention. How much time and money do you spend attracting new customers? How much time and money do you spend retaining existing ones? And the real question is, how much time and money should you spend on each one? The process of customer acquisition is an investment, and it's expensive. It'll cost 6 to 7 times more to attract a new customer than it does to keep an existing one. I'm sure you've all heard that statistic. So once your startup is established and you have some customers, the most efficient strategy to increase your profit is to continue to communicate with your existing customer base. Put your existing customers first. And the reason that's so important as well is not only are your existing customers easier to get, but 20% of those existing customers probably account for 80% of your sales. And so if you don't know which 20% those are, it's worth investing some time, software, effort, energy into trying to figure that out. So do some analysis of your own sales, see where they're coming from, and today's technology can really help you do that. The other option is, so you can do it with simple spreadsheets, or if you have a small customer base, a point of sale system will often give you information about customer sales if you have customer numbers, website stats, social media sites, or a CRM, a customer relationship management system. And these are all over the place now. They're readily available online, pretty affordable and simple to use. These are some that I threw up there. Base, Fresh Sales, Insightly, Less Annoying CRM, which I thought was a great name, Pipedrive, and Zoho. And again, you know, if you just heard those names, would you know what those were? So it's a good example, I think, of the noise in the marketplace around technology services. So if you can increase the retention of your existing customers by 5%, you can potentially get a 25 to 95% increase in your profits. And you say, well, why? Why would that be? Because you have easier conversions. The probability of selling to an existing customer is up to 14 times higher than the probability of selling to a new customer. So that is a pretty compelling statistic. You have the opportunity for new products, cross-selling, for repeat purchases. You can also have higher price points because these people trust you, they know you, they like your product, and they are willing to pay a little bit more. They're not as price sensitive as your new customer might be because they're just comparing price to price across products and services. You also have reduced marketing expenses because you already know who they are. You can get to them quicker and easier, and they should be more receptive to your marketing because they already know you. And here's a real key, new referrals. They are worth gold to you if they love what you're doing to help you get your new customers. If they're satisfied by the experience, 73% of consumers will recommend a brand to others. And 46% say they trust that brand's products and service above others. So that's pretty good. If you can get somebody to appreciate, you know, someone who is a really good customer of yours and loves your product, it doesn't take a lot to get them to help share that. So why do customers leave? Anyone have a guess? So thought that was interesting. Some of them do actually leave the market or whatever, but the real issue is right here. Customers believe they don't care about you, they will leave. So what can you do about it? Studies show customers, particularly millennials, are increasingly dissatisfied with that contact center experience, the phone center experience, the scripted responses to what they're doing. And I don't think it's just them. I think a lot of us feel like we're being disrespected when we get that kind of a spiel. And they want to be communicated in a lot of different ways. So the social media web chat, mobile apps, things like that are pretty successful where they're not being read a script. So what else can you do? Set customer expectations and meet them consistently. You can become the customer's trusted advisor, share your expertise, and this is where a lot of the Facebook and social media technologies help customers get their story out. And use social media to help build those relationships and trust. Again, tell your story. Take a proactive approach with customer service, go the extra mile. You could do things like customer loyalty programs, include a thank you note in the shipping, send a small gift to some of your best customers once you get that 20% identified. And make it personal. Personalized service improves customer experience. It's something customers are expecting and demanding. Make their experience personal to strengthen that bond with your brand. So in summary, the tech industry is complex for many consumers to navigate, but that's an opportunity for you to communicate with them. Serving customers across that broad spectrum is another opportunity. If you're focused on just a part of that, you might be missing some really great customer sales in other segments. Customer retention is really key to profitability, so don't ignore those existing customers. And using the information to identify that top 20%, know where your sales are coming from. And the bottom line is it's still all about managing your relationship with your customers. So I think I will, well, I'll do it. We got a minute, I guess. The customer service relationships. This is a business model canvas. I think you've probably heard a lot about business plans and probably done a few yourself. This is a business model canvas that kind of puts your business plan on one sheet of paper. And what we talked about today really was just the customer relationships and segments and distribution channels we didn't really touch on. But there's a lot more to this. And if you need help or would like to work with somebody in that area as an advisor, I can help you do that. I will share with you my contact information. And just kind of my final word on you and your customers is that I think it's really hard to fake who you are in business. And so think of examples of where your experience with that business has been really inconsistent with who they say they are and their marketing. So it's got to be genuine, it's got to be real. Eventually people will be turned off to that. So thanks very much for joining me tonight. Do you have any questions? Is there anything else you'd like to share with your counterparts, or anything you'd like to ask me? Yes.
I guess to kind of paraphrase, something that like most startups don't think about, I guess, is like customer service doesn't like directly go out like a sales team and make money, but what you're saying is the customer service essentially retains your existing and supports your sales force. Is that what you're saying? Absolutely,
absolutely. Every interaction you have with your customers, customer service, whether it's identified that way or not. You're absolutely right. Yep. Other thoughts, experiences?
Allison, are you seeing businesses come to you with a full understanding of what the market truly is and who their competitors are? Do they understand, if they're in retail, that Amazon, even though they're not located in Waterville, is a direct competitor? Or do you feel comfortable that they've got that, or do you not see that as? I think it's
difficult for new, particularly new businesses and startups to accurately estimate their competition. And you know, like we said earlier, the technology has really opened it up, so you could start a business really quickly now. The issue is, so can everyone else. And the other issue is your customers can change, become somebody else's customer with a click of a mouse, you know, or a swipe of a phone. And so I think that understanding who your customer is underestimated, and who your competition is underestimated.
And
yeah.
I was just going to ask you that as well, because when you talk about the different age brackets and how they interact,
yep.
It seems now it's so confusing for a company and to be an expert on any one of those platforms, let alone all of them.
Yes.
Would really seem to be a challenge for new businesses.
Yeah, and so what I my approach is to say, pick one thing. Don't try to do it all. You know, it's something to try to keep up with your Twitter account and your Facebook account and Instagram and LinkedIn and tie it all back to your website. That's a lot for a small business to handle. And I don't think it's necessary to do that all. I think pick one thing that you know reaches the customers you're trying to talk to and be consistent. I think if you can do that, it's far more effective than trying to do it all. Thoughts, questions, challenges that you faced? Yes?
Did you say that you work in the area that you serve for free with businesses?
Yes. So the Small Business Development Center is actually funded by the United States Small Business Administration, Maine Department of Community and Economic Development, and partnered with the University of Southern Maine. So I am paid to be a business advisor by those entities, and all the services we offer are free. We have a ton of webinars and tools, templates for things, and research repositories. We can look for data on different businesses and things like that for people. So yes, absolutely. I think it's a great service, and we have several across the state. But it's free, it's confidential, and we all have to end up getting certifications to do what we do.
Allison, as it relates, and maybe even for folks at home that aren't familiar with SPDC and what you do and the great work, do you mind just briefly discussing, minus any specific names of a business, just what a typical client, what that life cycle may look? And I know it's case by case, but just kind of the business plan and cash flow projections, and just maybe articulate just the benefit, frankly, in putting together what will probably be the lifeblood, or manage the lifeblood or the blueprint for hopefully the cash flow of your business, and why this is so critical.
So in interest of full disclosure, I've been an SBDC business advisor for 4 months. However, I have a long career behind that, and this is kind of the ultimate for me. I was a teacher for a while of business and computer courses, which is near and dear to my heart. I was a chief financial officer for a healthcare nonprofit, and I spent 20 some odd years in the utility industry in various formats. So I come with a basket full of experience. And so this first 4 months has been really an eye-opener for me. I've dealt, when I was with the utility, with customers all across the state in all different industries, and I always found that fascinating. But now it's more like all different industries, and what are their problems, what are they good at, what are they not good at, and how do you help them, because the goal of this is to help them learn. It's not to have, we're not consultants, we don't do it for people. So the idea is, how do you have them understand that the information you're putting in has to be good to get good information out, and you have to look at it. So I just absolutely love the variety of people that have come to see me in these 4 months, and it's everything from people, single owners trying to decide if they want to make that jump or not. I have people who are currently employed that are trying to figure out if they can, if is this the right time, and to take that leap and to do something different. And what I can do is take the bias out of it and have them really do the research, do the exploration. I have somebody right now that's going around in their vehicle to different businesses to test the market, see if what they have will sell at the price they have. And so that's really exciting. On the other hand, we have people who are trying to buy and sell businesses, buy and sell buildings, and business valuation. That's something else that's really difficult. It's an art as much as a science. So that's certainly an area all by itself. So think about when you have your business and you're trying to build it up, making sure that you can represent what its value is. And there's a couple of times that's really important. One is when you go to the bank to get financing, and the second is when you get ready to sell it. So it's just been it's just been a wonderful experience for me so far. I absolutely love it, and really thrilled to be here and be doing that. And they do run the gamut. They are all over the place, all different industries, and all different issues. A lot of frustration with QuickBooks. For non-financial people, it's, you know, you can do the mechanics, but if you don't understand why you're doing it or what you're trying to do, it's easy to make mistakes, it's easy to get frustrated. But I do think it's a great tool. Other thoughts, questions?
What are some of the webinars that you offer?
So there are a lot of them that are offered through the SBA and through the SBDC on their websites, and they run the gamut. They're on financing, they're on business startups, they're on customer service, they're on personnel management, pretty much every business issue you can run into. There's information out there in terms of either a video on it or a webinar, or and we do workshops. So, and we try to partner with other people when we do them so we can get more of an audience. This was awesome. This is really awesome tonight to have this opportunity. So, yeah, a lot of resources available on their website. Anything else? Thank you very much. Thank you.
A real special thank you to Allison. We're co-located in the same office, and in all seriousness, it's been spectacular having SBDC under the roof of us, where it's really, by design now, one-stop shop. So whether it's you're working with SBDC or with the Central Maine Growth Council, from business plan, development, site planning, putting a capital stack together, looking at these opportunities, there are several wonderful resources. And then you overlay our academic institutions on that. Yeah. There are people in this community to really drive some deep impact there. So thank you so much to Allison. I do want to remind folks, if you didn't sign in, please do, just because we are tracking this, likewise with SBDC. And I believe we have some evaluation forms that we would so appreciate if you fill out. Please don't feel like you want to run out. I think what's really valuable having resources like Allison in the room is maybe that one-on-one conversation or that confidential question that you may have. So please use this time to do so. Next month in October, the second Thursday, of course, we'll be having in MTI on a little bit of their road tour to discuss their portfolio of programs. So I think this will really dovetail nicely into that and into the holidays as well. So thank you so much. Great seeing everybody. We'll see you next October for MTI, and feel free to stick around. Please feel free to take some pizza or another drink. So cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What you want? What you want? What you want? Come on. What you want? What you want? Come on. What you want?
That was fast complete to number 87, Seth Powers. Toss goes to number 42, Cody Rice. He's dragged down by number 24, Nick Dennis.